tiny Indian Navy sailboat called the Madei, and it's built in Goa, is at the southern tip of Africa, sailing from the Atlantic into the Indian Ocean. The lone sailor on board, the Navy's Lieutenant Commander Abhilash Tomy, has just entered the last leg of a solo, non-stop voyage around the world. Here's a story of courage and skill, only on Doordarshan. A quiet goodbye in Mumbai. Brief handshakes, a wave from Abhilash Tomy, and then the naval officer was alone with the elements. His 56-foot sail ship Madei was on its way around the globe non-stop. Less than 80 humans have achieved this feat, called a solo circumnavigation. Compared to this, more than 525 humans have traveled to space, and some 500 mountaineers climb Mount Everest every year. These relatively calm seas of the first few days quickly give way to the heaving waters of the Southern Ocean. There is no land here to stop the freezing trade winds. Even Antarctica is 2,000 miles away. Much of the Madei's 40,000-kilometer journey is here, rolling and pitching through 20-foot waves, which are almost as tall as the main mast. After leaving Mumbai on 1st November, the Madei crossed the equator 16 days later. Cape Leuwin in Australia was crossed on 12th December, and the boat passed New Zealand close to New Year's Day. Then, after crossing the Pacific in less than a month, Tomy crossed the fabled Cape Horn on Republic Day. Racing across the Atlantic in just 19 days, the Madei crossed the Cape of Good Hope yesterday. Now, it's the home stretch, a roughly 40-day voyage back to Mumbai. All through this voyage, which is 80% completed, Tomy has navigated, communicated, and kept the Madei shipshape. When a rope snapped on top of the main mast, Tomy had little choice but to climb that swaying mast and fix it. The closest help was 3,000 miles away. How does a sailor prepare for such a voyage? Tomy says, by doing it. You can keep preparing for 10 years, but you're only going to learn some things when you actually do them. Doordarshan News Bureau Report. Joining us live on Doordarshan, Lieutenant Commander Abhilash Tomy from the Cape of Good Hope. Tomy, pleasure having you on the show. You've not seen a human being for some four months now almost. Tell us how you're doing. Tell us what it feels like right now.
It's been a long while and I've not even spoken to anybody, so please forgive me if my words don't come out properly. It's been a fantastic voyage so far. The boat and I have done pretty well. There have been some issues, but we've been dealing with them, and we have made it to the Indian Ocean safe and sound so far.
Are you looking to reach Bombay in another month or so? What is the time? Is this now one of the easy parts of such a voyage? I mean, I'm sure there can't be an easy part at all, but is the really difficult part behind you now?
Well, to be honest, there is nothing which is easy. Yesterday I thought that I was through the worst weather when the biggest sail in my boat tore for no reason at all. So it has slowed me down a bit. From here I need to negotiate doldrums. I've got at least 2 cyclones en route. I need to negotiate those 2 cyclones somehow. I'll be becalmed in the doldrums, and there will be a lot of squally weather where winds just shoot up from 10 knots to 30 or 40 knots. They can do a lot of damage. In fact, I was happy to be back in the Indian Ocean, but the first day itself I damaged one of my biggest sails.
The Indian Ocean welcomed you with a cyclone, did it? What happens actually to the boat during a cyclone? Just describe it for us briefly.
Well, the best thing I should do is somehow avoid it, but usually it's not possible. I've been through more than cyclone force winds at least 3 or 4 times during the voyage, and the boat has taken it pretty well. What I would do is I would take off all the sails and keep as less sails as possible so that there is not too much force on the rigs, and somehow get out of it as unscathed as possible.
Have there been any close shaves, any hair-raising stories along the way?
Lots. As in just yesterday, wind shot up to about 70 knots, which is about 120, 130 kmph. And one of the sails that I was not using, that opened up by itself and completely tore. In another occasion, I had to go up the mast, something like 15-20 meters up all by myself in a boat that was going up and down by 4 meters, by about 15-20 feet. So that was a scary experience.
Abhilash, what keeps you going at a time like this? All alone in the middle of the ocean, you know that if anything happens, there's no help at hand. What actually possesses you to go and do something like this, and what keeps you going through the entire adventure?
I think two things. One is passion. I want to do it, that's why I'm doing it. And secondly, it's naval training. I couldn't have done it without naval training.
Give finally a message that you have for people who've been following you. You've been maintaining a blog right through this voyage. You've been posting, and all of us have been going to your blog and silently cheering you on. What's your message to India as you enter your final leg?
First of all, I didn't realize that there were so many people cheering me, but the figures say that there are quite a lot of them, and I would like to give them a big thank you. And when I come back, I hope I can inspire them to look towards the seas for adventure.
Once you actually get back to Bombay, I assume you're not going to be doing some sailing for some time, not voluntarily at any rate.
No, of course not. I'll take to the sea as often as I can, and possibly that will be the first thing I'll do once I come back to Bombay.
Abhilash Tomi, thank you for joining us over there. Be safe, make the rest of that voyage happily. There's a lot of people over here cheering you. For all of you out there who are interested in knowing what's happening with him, go to his blog. He maintains a blog and posts there very often, telling you exactly what's happening day to day on that hair-raising voice. Also, don't forget to give feedback to us at Doordarshan. We take your feedback very seriously. My Twitter handle is there on the screen. That's at Ajay Shukla. Where we leave you right now at the end of this news bulletin with some memories of what